The world of The Last of Us isn't just a game, it's quite a haunting masterpiece. Behind every brutal fight, quiet moment, and gut wrenching decision are secrets, accidents, and downright bizarre facts you probably never noticed. From real explicit hotlines to sound effects pulled from the strangest places, this story hides way more than meets the eye. So grab your backpack, load that revolver, and let's head straight into the overgrown ruins of humanity. Number 1. The Hidden Eye Chart Message. In the final stretch of The Last of Us, when Joel storms through the Firefly hospital to save Ellie, there's an eye chart on the wall that isn't what it seems. If you look closely, the letters spell out, "Run, you are nearly there, don't quit." It's like the game is whispering directly to the player, urging you to push through the chaos. You're tired, you're stressed, and this little message is the final boost, a cheeky wink from the devs. For most players, it just looks like random letters, but eagle-eyed fans caught it, turning it into one of the most beloved hidden Easter eggs in the game. It's the kind of tiny detail that proves Naughty Dog built this world with heart, humor, and just a pinch of mischief. Number 2. The ending mirrors the beginning. The game begins and ends like a haunting reflection. In the opening, Joel carries his daughter Sarah as soldiers fire on them. In the ending, Joel carries Ellie, unconscious, while gunning down fireflies. The locations change, the stakes are different, but the image is the same. Joel running through danger with someone he loves in his arms. This isn't an accident. Neil Druckmann himself said this mirrored structure was intentional. The opening shot is Sarah. The closing shot is Ellie. It's a loop that quietly says everything about Joel's transformation. What began with loss ends with a desperate choice, and the story comes full circle in a way that hits like a gut punch. And here's the catch. This carefully designed emotional loop ties straight into something way more real and way more terrifying. In fact, 11, the monsters at the heart of this story were inspired by something that actually exists in the real world. Number 3, a newspaper spoiled the game early. Months before the game was ever announced, it was accidentally teased inside Uncharted 3, Drake's Deception. At the bar counter in the game's opening level, there's a newspaper with a headline that reads, "Scientists are still struggling to understand deadly fungus." Yep, that's a straight up reference to the cordyceps infection. Originally, Naughty Dog planned to announce The Last of Us before Uncharted 3's release, but delays made this little hint go live anyway. Luckily, nobody noticed back then. If they had, the game's big surprise reveal might have been spoiled. One forgotten prop became a time capsule, a headline pointing straight to the apocalypse. Number 4, the bar is an Uncharted Easter egg. Remember that pub in Pittsburgh? It's not just any random building. It's almost a one-to-one replica of the bar from the beginning of Uncharted 3. It even has the same name, O'Sullivan's Irish Pub, a little pointer to Victor Sully Sullivan, Drake's mentor. Players who explored the pub noticed the layout, the furniture, even the bar stools were closely similar. The devs didn't just drop a reference, they recycled an entire location. This made fans wonder if The Last of Us and Uncharted secretly share the same world. While that's not canon, it's a pretty cool crossover hidden in plain sight. Number 5, a billboard with real autoerotic hotlines. Now this one's wild. In Pittsburgh, there's a billboard for pest control with two 555 numbers printed on it. Normally, 555 means fake, just a prop. But here's the catch. Those numbers actually connected to real autoerotic hotlines. It was a total accident. No creepy ARG, no hidden lore, just a very awkward mistake by the dev team. Once it was discovered, they patched it out in update 1.02. But some players called the numbers before the fix and got quite the surprise. It's one of the weirdest, most accidental Easter eggs in the game. Quick reminder that even a masterpiece can slip up in the funniest way. Naughty Dog indeed. And wait for it, that wouldn't be the only time something subtle completely reshaped the way players experienced this world. In fact, 14, it wasn't a bug or a blunder, it was genius. Number 6, Bill's quiet reaction to Frank's suicide note. Most players remember Bill as the loud, grumpy booby trap guy, but under all that sarcasm, there's pain. When Joel finds Frank's hanging body, there's a suicide note nearby. In it, Frank writes that he hated Bill's guts. He couldn't take their toxic relationship anymore. But watch this. If you give Bill the note, he reads it in silence, then slowly crumples it and throws it away. No big speech, no yelling, just quiet hurt. It's one of those rare moments when the game shows vulnerability without spelling it out. Everything from the way he stands to the way his voice drops tells you exactly how much Frank meant to him. No music, no cutscene, just raw human pain.
You ready to go?
Number 7, Joel and Ellie's surnames were revealed in Japan. For a story so focused on its characters, it's wild that we never hear Joel or Ellie's last names in the game. But if you bought the Japanese version, the answer is right there in the manual. Joel's surname is listed as Miller, and Ellie's as Williams. Officially, This isn't considered hard canon, but it's printed in an official manual, so it's not just fan fiction either. This little reveal adds a strange, almost personal touch to two characters who have always just been Joel and Ellie to us. It's like finding a missing puzzle piece you didn't know you needed. Number 8, Area 5 is more than just a game location. Early in the game, Joel and Tess hunt down Robert in a zone called Area 5. It's just a checkpoint in the story, or so it seems. But Area 5 is also the name of the company that created the behind the scenes documentary Grounded, which takes you inside the making of The Last of Us. Even cooler, their logo is actually visible on shipping containers in the checkpoint area. That's right, the devs dropped a little shout out to their documentary team inside the game world itself. It's a meta Easter egg. Real world creators hidden in a fictional apocalypse. And this wouldn't be the last time something real bled into this fictional world. In fact, 17, the connection got so close, it sparked a full blown controversy. Number 9, there are 3 PS3 consoles hidden in the game. Naughty Dog is loyal to PlayStation 3 and they made sure you knew it. There are 3 PS3 consoles scattered across the game, and each one belongs to a different playable character. You'll spot the first PS3 as Sarah in the opening sequence, sitting quietly under the living room TV. The second pops up when you're playing as Joel in the university, tucked on a shelf near the foosball and pool tables. And the third one, it's hiding during Ellie's segment when she's on the run from David's men. 3 consoles, 3 characters, one subtle flex from Naughty Dog to remind you whose house this is. Number 10, Clementine's house makes a cameo. At one point, Joel and Ellie stumble upon a house with a pool, a treehouse, and a cozy-looking yard. If that gives you deja vu, you're not wrong. The house looks almost identical to Clementine's house from The Walking Dead, the Telltale series. Fans have been debating this for years. Some say it's a stretch, others swear it's way too specific to be coincidence. Considering how both games shaped storytelling in zombie worlds, it's probably a quiet tribute, a nod from one legendary game to another. Even in a world filled with monsters, it's these quiet, shared details that make the game feel alive. If you've made it this far, you're clearly as hooked on The Last of Us as we are, and we're only halfway through the twisted secrets. So, if these hidden gems are blowing your mind, hit that like button, subscribe, and ring that bell so you never miss a deep dive into your favorite games. Alright, let's get back to the fungus-fueled chaos. Number 11. The infection was inspired by real fungus. Remember that mirror structure from Fact 2? How the game was crafted to feel real? That same level of intention went into the infected. The zombies in The Last of Us aren't born from just imagination. They're modeled after a real-life parasite, Cordyceps fungi. This fungus infects insects, hijacks their brains, and makes them climb to a high place. Then, it grows straight out of their heads. Bruce Straley and Neil Druckmann saw this on planet Earth and instantly knew this was their monster. The beauty of the fungus, its colors, its delicate shapes, mixed with the horror of being controlled by it, gave them their perfect concept, something elegant and disgusting at the same time. That's why clickers look both organic and terrifying. It's not just fiction, it's science twisted into a nightmare. Number 12, Tess was supposed to be the final villain. This one's wild. Tess, Joel's partner and trusted ally, was originally meant to be the game's final villain. In early drafts, after Joel and Ellie escaped the quarantine zone, Tess would feel betrayed and go on a revenge hunt across the country. She'd eventually catch up to Joel in the climax, ready to kill him. But Ellie would kill Tess first. End of story. That dark ending would have flipped everything upside down. But Druckmann and Straley realized it didn't fit the emotional arc they were building. Instead, Tess got a heroic and tragic exit early on, letting the Joel-Ellie bond take center stage. Thank goodness they changed it. Number 13, Ellie drops 53 F-bombs. Let's talk about Ellie's mouth. Throughout the game, she swears a lot. In fact, she drops the F-bomb 53 times, making her the game's reigning queen of profanity. Some players found it hilarious, others a little shocking, but it fits. Ellie grew up in a broken world where survival means being tougher than everyone else. Her swearing isn't random. It's part of her character. It's how she pushes back, how she shows fear, and sometimes how she jokes. And that number doesn't even count the extra curses in the in-game chatter while exploring. When it comes to dropping F-bombs, Ellie doesn't hold back. Number 14. The character chatter changed storytelling. Remember that accidental little slip-up in Fact 5? Well, this time, the hidden surprise wasn't by accident. One of the most subtle but brilliant parts of The Last of Us is the casual chatter between characters. As Joel and Ellie walk through cities, forests, or abandoned buildings, they talk about everything. This wasn't random dialogue. It was designed to make the world feel real. Druckmann and Straley took inspiration from Nathan Drake and Tenzin's natural chatter in Uncharted 2, Among Thieves, but pushed it even further. The result was something groundbreaking. Instead of long cutscenes, emotion flows through natural conversations while you play. You don't just watch the bond between Joel and Ellie, you live it. Number 15. Ish is a subtle literary reference. In the Suburbs chapter, players find scattered notes from a man named Ish, a survivor who built an underground refuge after the outbreak. His story is told only through scraps of paper, and it's surprisingly emotional. But Ish isn't just a random name, it's a reference to the protagonist of Earth Abides by George R. Stewart, a classic 1949 post apocalyptic novel. Just like the Ish in the game, the book's Ish watches the world crumble and tries to rebuild something from the ashes. It's a quiet nod to the granddaddy of apocalypse fiction, hidden in a sewer, waiting for players who like to read between the lines. Number 16. There was originally an infected elephant. The Last of Us almost featured one of the most absurd boss fights in survival horror history. Early concept drafts included a massive infected elephant that would have chased Joel down a street like a zombie freight train. The creative team actually brainstormed how cordyceps would spread through an elephant's massive body, fungal growths covering tusks, trunk, and legs. Imagine trying to sneak around a creature that weighs 6 tons and screams like a foghorn with mushrooms. It was meant to be a terrifying set piece, but it proved technically impossible to animate and balance for gameplay. Plus, recording elephant screams, not exactly easy. So, the scene was scrapped, but concept artists still whisper about Fungus Dumbo. Honestly, you'll be kind of glad it never made it in. Number 17. The unbearable likeness of Elliot Page. Remember that sneaky little real-world cameo back in Fact 8? This time, it wasn't a logo tucked in a corner. It was a face. When Ellie first appeared in early trailers for The Last of Us, a lot of people said the same thing. She looks like Elliot Page. And honestly, they weren't wrong. The resemblance was uncanny. So uncanny that Page himself publicly expressed frustration over the situation, since he wasn't involved in the game at all. In response, Naughty Dog quietly reworked Ellie's facial model to make her look more like Ashley Johnson, the voice and motion capture actress who actually brought Ellie to life. But even after the redesign, many players still felt the character carried a strong Page vibe. To this day, it's one of gaming's most infamous unintentional likeness stories. Number 18. The Last of Jack and Daxter. Before there was The Last of Us, there was supposed to be a gritty reboot of Jack and Daxter. Yep, that's how this masterpiece actually began. After wrapping up Uncharted 2, Among Thieves, the team at Naughty Dog split in two. Directors Neil Druckmann and Bruce Straley were handed the reins to revive Jack and Daxter, but with a DC-style makeover. Darker, more realistic, more grounded. But once the concept art rolled in, the team hated it. The tone was off. The soul of the game didn't match the brutal realism they were going for. So, they marched into the higher-ups office and said, "We want to make something different." The studio said yes. That single decision, ditching a reboot, gave birth to one of the greatest post-apocalyptic stories ever told. If that Jack and Daxter project had gone through, Joel and Ellie might never have existed. Number 19. Ellie's jokes came from a real book. One of the most unexpectedly emotional parts of The Last of Us isn't a big shootout or a tragic death. It's Ellie telling awful, cheesy jokes.
The book just fell on my head. I only have myself to blame. Or wait, I said it wrong. Hold on, let me read it again. A book just fell on my head. I only have my shelf to blame.
Her no pun intended joke book isn't just a random prop. It was based on an actual book the writers used during development to lighten the mood in between heavy story beats. The dev team thought Ellie, a kid growing up in a brutal world, would cling to something silly to feel human. That little book ended up doing something huge. It gave players emotional breathing room. And those bad puns weren't just written by the script team. Some came straight from staff members who pitched their own worst dad jokes during late-night writing sessions. It's proof that even in the apocalypse, humor survives. Number 20. The clicker's sounds came from just two people. One of the most chilling parts of The Last of Us isn't what you see, it's what you hear. Those high-pitched clicks and guttural screeches that make your blood run cold. They weren't made by animals or fancy effects. They came from just two people, Misty Lee and Robin Atkin Downs. Inside a sound booth, the pair experimented with layered breathing patterns, sharp tongue clicks, and eerie screeches. Then, the audio team distorted, pitch shifted, and layered those sounds to give the clickers their nightmarish edge. It's entirely human, and that's exactly why it's so unnerving. And there you have it. 20 of the strangest, most unexpected facts hiding inside The Last of Us, from infected elephants that never saw the light of day to fungal prophecies tucked inside other games. This post-apocalyptic masterpiece is built on layers of weird, brilliant, and occasionally absurd creative choices. That's what makes it unforgettable. The beauty of this world isn't just in its story, it's in the bizarre details that shaped it. Which of these facts blew your mind the most? Drop it in the comments and keep surviving.